So the power of observation is an interesting one. It's about understanding your audience through just working with them, communicating with them, and understanding through talking to them their dislikes, what they may like in an effect, and stuff of that nature. Something I've observed, and I write in my notes because I want to be very careful about how I communicate this, is I wrote it like this. Take note of audience preferences and use it to your advantage. An observation, and this is just something I've noted with most male spectators, is that they tend to like a quick, flashy production or those style tricks, while female spectators have more of an inclination or an interest to have a preference to magic performances with an insightful story or an anecdote attached to it, maybe something along the lines of mind reading or fortune telling, maybe stuff of that nature. And I also wrote in here, romance, added interest to a trick, makes an invested audience. So it's also understanding the context for which we're performing, and we may never be able to perfectly perform to every situation and context because our tools may be limited, the situation and everything may call for it. But something to keep in mind, so if you have an opportune moment to do it, that could dramatically increase the effect. One example I like to say is you are being hired for an event and you want to get more details on it so you can understand what the audience is and what their interests are. Is it a kid's birthday party? Is it an adult birthday party? Is it mostly males? Is it mostly females? What's the event for? If it's like a Harry Potter adult themed birthday party, then you would maybe want a wand and wand styled effects so that you can be able to be devoted more towards that theme and make a more impactful show. And the fact that you chose the theme, you go into that theme as well with your performance than just being a performer with magical effects, really does aid to it and creates more interest and devotion to it. Wow, he not only is a Harry Potter themed show, we got a Harry Potter themed magician. Cool! And that can be one thing. Or in the case that you have time before you actually do your show, I like to engage in one of my favorite parts, which is pre-show work. And it's not so much, actually doing some sneaky technique beforehand and getting all set up for an actual effect in the show. My definition or my context of pre-show work is just getting to understand the audience and their interests and stuff of that nature. Is it mostly a female audience? Is it more of a male audience? Who am I playing towards to be able to get if I play towards one person, we'll be able to play to a larger audience, and will it play well? So it's just different things I'm considering. And like for males, and I'll set it up as I'm talking on this, but I just noticed that males have a strong inclination towards flash effects. So if you're doing a bar with a bunch of males, you may want to consider a flashier effect to get the interest right away. And if you're able to get their interest, they might bring their buddies in, and then grows and it scales, and it's very advantageous to you to be able to consider it. If I may, I'm going to do a fun little quick production to get the point across. So cuts, and after that, all those cuts, I get one ace. I get the lovely ace of spades. But why one when why not all? Whoop. Oh, one went off. But why not all four? And I can show all four aces. It was a little bit off, but you get the general idea. 1, 2, 3, 4 aces. It was supposed to look like this, but I'm just improvising as I go along. And that can work for that context. If you are working, and I do elaborate on this, and it doesn't work for every situation because I want to be inclusive to everyone's interests and stuff of that nature. But for females, from my 15 years of performing, normal tricks, they're like, okay, that's cool. But then just anything involving a theme of fortune telling, mind reading, or stuff of that nature is really where the peak interest was at. I'm like, I'm putting, seemingly less effort into this presentation or this style, and I worked harder on this, but why is this not working? People just have their interests on what they like, and being able to go along with their interest or really have an engaging performance in that area that they actually have an interest in really does provide a more engaging audience. And it's especially true if you think about it in a personal sense, that someone wants to relate to you and they have a bunch of mutual interests, then you're like, okay, I like you. Let's go. Interesting. My phone went off. But it's a bunch of just cool ways. It's just the actual way you can actually engage your audience, and it really does make a difference. It shows that you care, that you really want to be involved with them, and by you being involved with them and showing that you're being from a giving nature to be involved in their interests, they in turn will be involved in yours. So I guess it goes back to this core feedback loop. Is it a sharing feedback loop where everyone wants to contribute and everyone wants to build a show? Is it feel like it's just one-sided? And there's trade-offs to each, mind you. There's trade-offs to each. There's some advantages to just having a very controlled audience for especially difficult effects, where if the audience tries to participate, the effect can fall apart. You know, contextually, different effects. But it's just something to consider, and it's this point of consideration that really makes a difference, and something I had to work really hard to even grasp or understand. And I wish, honestly, as I said in other videos, I wish someone had told me this. But I'm happy to share this knowledge with you, and for the performer to be or already pro magician, however you or wherever you are currently, I want to offer this advice to you so you can be able to grow in your magic and have your performance and you be the best you know you can be. So with that said, if you haven't checked out this video yet or this video yet, definitely check them out, and I will see you in the next video.